Hi there, this is Cameron, and today I'm doing a video review for this book right here, the Complete Walt Disney World 2017 edition by Julie and Mike Neal. So if you're planning a Walt Disney trip, you might want to think about this book. I'll give you a little bit of background on me. I am a self-proclaimed Disney fanatic. I try and make a trip to Disneyland. I will live on the West Coast every year or so. I've got 3 little kids that I usually take with me. I've never been to Walt Disney World, however. There are a lot of similarities, but a trip to Disney World is a lot bigger deal. So I kind of looked at the book through the lens of, if I'm going to plan a trip knowing what I know, how does this book help me? Also, if I'm going to plan a trip and I don't know anything, how would this help someone in that situation? So let's get started. First of all, when are you going to want this book? This is going to be a book that you're going to probably sit down well in advance of your trip, maybe a year in advance even, and I would start at the front cover and I would read it all the way through. I probably wouldn't read every single line of text for sure. There are several sections that give you an introduction to the land, and then it drills down and gives you an introduction into, actually starts out at the park level, because Disney World has 4 different parks, as you may not know, but drills down from park to land to ride. And even within that, they give you a description of the ride, some cool things to look forward to in the ride, like little insider tips that people might not know, like, hey, there's some hidden Mickeys, which are like little shapes of Mickey Mouse around that only nerds care about. But kind of cool things that you can look forward to, and maybe things that not everyone knows about. So that's really cool, but you probably don't need to read absolutely everything. They also have ratings for every ride. And they have ratings for every restaurant in the park as well, which is really handy, as well as a bit of a price guide on the restaurants. So those things you will want to, especially if you've never been to a Disney park, are going to want to go through at least in skim. I sat down with my kids and read through most of that section, and that worked really well. Got them very excited to go to Disney World. It's still going to be a little while before they can go, but it is in our future, so it got them excited. Also, once you get towards the back and you're through the parks and you're onto the other sections towards the back of the book, there are hotels that you can read all about, because Disney World has something like 27 Disney-owned hotels, which is crazy. They give you price information, expectations, what's your best value, all super helpful information. That part I didn't read through with the kids because they were bored out of their minds by that type of stuff. But as far as logistical planning of your trip, that section is going to be huge. There's also some more information towards the back of the book about other things you can do. There's some boutiques if you've got kids that really like to get their hair done up and get fancy dresses on, or Prince Charming suits on. There's some things you can learn about in there. There's also the My Magic Plus system that's a little bit confusing. So it's confusing for me as well, because I've never been to Disney World. They don't have it at Disneyland. That was extremely useful. So lots of really useful things in the book. As you can see, I'll randomly choose. There's park maps. There's full, I actually landed on, it's a really, not really a useful picture. It's actually a hidden Mickey, but it looks like a tree trunk. And it's really strange, like, why it's there. But otherwise, nice professional pictures of the rides themselves. It's super well laid out. It goes one park at a time and one land at a time within each park, and it's really logically laid out. So you can kind of walk your way through every park and every land, through every ride. The ratings are really nice, and what I really like is that Ms. Neal, or Ms. and Mrs. and Mr. Neal, are not employees of Disney, so they can give you kind of an objective opinion of all the rides. It sounds like maybe they once worked for Disney, and that's why they kind of have information about everything, which is nice. But it doesn't sound like they currently work for Disney, so it's sort of a unauthorized or unofficial guide to Disney World, which I really appreciate, because sometimes I'm looking for those like honest opinions, like, I know they've got the 5-star hotels, but what are the 2-star hotels like? Can you tell me objectively? What's the cleanliness level, or what's the kind of Disney aspects of the hotel? What am I gonna miss from, spending, $400 a night less? And they do have all those opinions in there. One really big glaring flaw. 4 stars for Splash Mountain. Are you joking me? Are you out of your mind? I'm sorry. No, I respect you. You spent a lot of time in the book, but 4 stars. Splash Mountain is the best ride in the history of amusement parks. It has a gripping narrative throughout, with Brer Bear and Brer Fox and Brer Rabbit, and there's the chase going on. It has some of the most detailed little landscapes, the little details in all the setting of the scene, and you're going through different places, and you don't even know really what you're looking at sometimes if you aren't super familiar with the story and the characters, but you're enjoying yourself the whole time. And then there's the build up to the climax, right? And the fox is chasing the rabbit, and you're climbing the mountain, and it's all dark, and the music gets really spooky, and you can see the rabbits tied up in a little silhouette. Brilliant. And it climbs and kind of seems like we're kind of climbing for a long time. It's maybe this is, and then boom, the best payoff in the history of rides. You crash 5 stories down, everybody gets soaked, and then it is a party. The rabbit escaped, the fox is gone, the bear's tied up, and there's just a party going on. Everybody's invited. There's music, there's dancing, there's a giant boat. It's just the happiest time you'll ever experience on an amusement ride, and they gave it 4 out of 5 stars. So I'm gonna try to respect the opinion of the reviewer of the rides, but let this be maybe a little insight that maybe not all of their review marks are unanimous, right? So there may be a 4-star ride that really is a 5-star ride, and there shouldn't be any debate about it. Makes me think maybe there are some 2 and 3 stars in there that would be better, or some 5 stars in there that should be 1s. I'm just saying. So what I would suggest, let me say this first, despite what I just went through, and I'm sorry to put you through that, but I know there is like one person watching this right now who's like, yeah, you tell them about Splash Mountain. But all that aside, get the book. Pick up the book. This gets a 5 out of 5 because I looked past my own biases, and I recognize that there's a lot of value in this book. Get it, plan your trip, read through it. It's too heavy to take to the parks, I think. It's really heavy. It's actually really quality paper that they printed on. But get the book, and I think that you'll definitely get a payoff from reading through it, and then you'll go back and you'll get little details here and there filled in as you're actually, okay, what are we going to do on day 1? What are we going to do on day 2 and day 3? Of course, there's going to be information on the internet that you can also get, but I would say that the way this book is laid out, it's really nice to have a central place where all of the information is page by page, and you don't have to search around. Once you've got a foundation here, you can go on the internet, you can go into forums. I do that a lot when I'm planning a trip and say, hey, what about parking? What if I had this idea to maybe rent a van and drive to the park every day? Here's where I'm staying. People on the internet are really helpful with that type of thing. But at least if you read the book first, you'll be asking the right questions, and you probably won't have to ask nearly as many questions. It'll give you a good foundation, a good starting place. So it comes recommended. I'm sorry that I did have some harsh criticism there, but still, despite all that, 5 out of 5 stars. Go pick up 2017 edition of the Complete Walt Disney World by the Neals, and I think you will thank me once your trip is over. Hope you have a great time on your trip. I'm really excited for you. I love Disney parks. I love Disneyland. I've also been to Disneyland Paris. It was amazing too. I think Disney offers a premium experience you won't get anywhere else. So pick up the book, and I hope this has been really helpful. Let me know if you had any also differences of opinion on any of the rides. I'd love to hear about them because I love to talk about that stuff. So anyway, this is again Cameron, and see you next time.